In some cases, the EPA is so aggressive that they look to regulate entire industries that rules out of existence. My family has been in the automobile business for almost 89 years. I've been in it 50 years, and we have never seen such an aggressive push to regulate tailpipe emissions and force the transition to electric vehicles. The problem with this is in Texas, there is no market. I repeat, no market for electric vehicles. People are looking for a car or truck that can pull a horse trailer or boat hundreds of miles and not have to be worried about finding a charging station and waiting a long time for electric vehicles to get charged back up. And the EPA doesn't understand this. They just don't. And they're trying to force this transition on the market when the people simply should decide they want it or not want it and let the product sell on its own. So the oil and gas industry is currently seeing similar hostilities, I believe, from this agency. So, Ms. Wagner, can you elaborate on the way the EPA treats the oil and gas industry compared to renewable energy companies? And what do you think the long-term impacts of this forced transition will be?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The difference between a lot of what you see in the green industry and the renewable industry, to which I'm very familiar with, on one of our farms and ranches, we have wind turbines on a ranch of ours that's in my family land. So I have seen what happens when the big renewables come to the small towns and what they do. And a big push from the EPA and a lot of people that support more regulation is that the jobs that will go away in my industry because this duplicitous regulation that's coming. Like I mentioned in my testimony, I'm highly regulated already. I'm a marginal well producer. I know what resources are coming out at the wellhead and what I'm selling. And if there's a loss anywhere between those 2 points, I'm looking at it before any regulator because I cannot afford to have a leak, a spill, or anything else. So those regulations are onerous and would cost the jobs in the community and the lifeblood in those small towns. And when the big green companies come in, it's a temporary job. A lot of people, you hear the rhetoric that there are green jobs out there for everyone that leaves the oil and gas industry because fossil fuels are bad and they're all going away. Well, we need fossil fuels. We need them for the medical products that the good doctor has talked about here. And those jobs did not come to our small town and stay. There were temporary guys that came in. And the green companies that come in have wonderful subsidies and grants and things that the federal government has done for them that do not get reinvested into Main Street USA. Very different than the oil and gas economy. So while they're getting helped, we're getting hindered.
Testimony. Mr. Ferris, it's estimated that U.S. small businesses spend over $60 billion per year on electricity. As electricity rates increase for consumers across the U.S., we must prioritize the importance of affordable and reliable electricity access for small businesses. So my question to you is, can you please speak to the cumulative impact of EPA's regulations targeting the energy sector on the electric bills of small businesses?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and absolutely. With the EPA's new power plants proposal, they're targeting 60+% of our power generation, and that's natural gas and that's coal. And they have to, within 10 years, have widespread deployment of carbon capture and hydrogen. Both of those are wonderful technologies, but they're not available at the scale needed for this. And what will happen in those 10 years is that 60% of our power generation will shut down. And so bills will go up trying to meet these, but also we'll have widespread power outages in the U.S. because of that power generation shutting down. So it can have a catastrophic effect on small businesses, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Dr. Acklog, I got about a minute left to go here. And I want to talk about ethylene. Is that how you say it? Say it again. Ethylene oxide, right? Explain to the committee what banning the use of ethylene oxide would mean for human health.
Well, it starts from the fact that there are 20 billion medical devices sterilized with ethylene oxide in this country a year, and that represents about 1 in 2 medical devices. Ethylene oxide sterilized devices are everywhere in healthcare. You step into a hospital, every corner has IV, syringes, very simple technologies, as well as the most complex technologies, such as the heart valve that I described. So a meaningful decline in capacity for sterilization with ethylene oxide will lead to supply chain issues and patient access to life-saving medical technologies. And in some cases where where these procedures are urgent, it could lead to severe patient suffering and death.
Okay, thank you. My time is up. I now recognize